Welcome to the Laguna Podcast, an attempt at illustrating the lives and stories from the Texas outdoors. Today I sit down with someone who has cut his teeth on the rocks and subsequently taken some fantastic images of tarpon as well as throughout his trips. This is my conversation with Leo Salazar. All right, well, after I don't know, like 2 years of trying to do this, I finally have Leo Salazar in the chair. And this one is really excited because like as we've been trying and failing to do this podcast, you've gone on more and more trips, and I'm sure you've stuck more and more very nice fish that you just haven't posted about. So like I think it's going to be a pretty interesting episode. Would you like to give an introduction?
Sure. I'm Leo Salazar. Live in Texas right now. I've just loved fishing my entire life. I've gotten into photography later on in life, and something that I really enjoy as well.
Damn good at it too.
Oh, appreciate that. So that's a big part of my trips and just my experience, as well as, just doing everything around the actual fishing as well, whether that's hanging out, having some drinks, getting some great food, telling stories.
Absolutely.
That's the whole experience for me.
Perfect. All right. Well, as if you've clearly heard a couple of the episodes before, why don't you just run me from your first memory in the outdoors and kind of just how you became you, just the chronological Leo Salazar story.
Okay. So my dad took me fishing at a young age, talking, the red and white bobbers with, worms and all that. Yep. So that was always great. A lot of catfishing. Had a pond little farm pond, little tank by our house in North Austin. So I grew up in Brushy Creek.
Gotcha.
So that place has kind of gotten more and more popular over the years. I was there in, I think 91 was when we moved there. And I had a great childhood running around, fishing the creek, fishing ponds, and just, I probably spent my high school years probably 100, 150 days just fishing growing up. I swear, man, some of those ponds, I knew fish by the different spots. I caught them so many damn times.
Wow.
But that's what I did. I played basketball and I went fishing. That was my childhood. Later on in high school, I had a buddy that moved into a house, and the previous owner left behind a fly rod.
And this is still in Austin, right?
This is still in Austin.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got into fly fishing probably around, 14, 15 years old, and didn't really have anyone to teach me. Didn't really know what I was doing.
Interesting.
And I was horrible at it. Casting, just terrible. I could get a fly out there, but it was
not
bad.
working.
Not working. So it was just basically flop out a little, bass popper and catch some little bluegills, and eventually started figuring out a little bit of things and was able to catch some carp on the Brushy Creek. And
wait, hold on. You briefed up. You kind of went a little too far. Catching a carp on a fly is honestly kind of difficult. I'd like to know kind of the little nitty gritty details. I'm sure that the difference from you being able to barely get any fly line out to the moment you can actively stalk and target, carp, there has to be some sort of improvement arc there.
There is. Being able to not necessarily double haul, but be able to water haul, get enough line out where I'm casting maybe 40, 50 feet.
Gotcha.
And on the Brushy, it's not that wide. There's some spaces that are wider than others, but there's a whole lot of carp, and we're talking the 90s, and not a whole lot of pressure. I can walk around, and during the summer, I can do whatever I want, right?
Wow.
Plenty of fish, and eventually one or two are going to eat. So I would say more just target-rich environment and luck more than my skill at that point.
I would give you too much credit.
Probably.
All right, continue on.
So I started traveling probably in my late teens, 20s, going to a few different places, trying fishing in a few different spots. I fished Gloucester up in Massachusetts for bluefish, striped bass.
Wow.
Got to fish in Maine a little bit for trout up there, and just kind of slowly began exploring more and more. One of my favorite early trips was a buddy. We did a road trip from Austin up to Michigan. I think we're late teens, early 20s, and went up to Traverse City, hung out there, then continued on to Isle Royale National Park. Got to fish a whole bunch of backpacking probably did, I don't know.
This episode is made possible by our friends over at Gordy & Sons Outfitters, located in Houston, Texas, and employing a team of experienced outdoorsmen specializing in fly fishing, hunting, and wing shooting. Gordy & Sons is sure to prepare you for success in the outdoors. Next time you find yourself preparing for a weekend getaway or a bucket list trip, be sure to give them a visit at www.gordyandsons.com.
Maybe 30, 40 miles round trip on that trip.
Wow.
And had a 2-piece spinning rod, some poppers, some spoons, and Isle Royale has a whole bunch of interior lakes. They're all full of northern pike, and you got moose and wolves and on an island essentially. So it's a really cool environment.
Wow.
So that was a lot of fun. So I started at a young age, kind of doing the whole dirt bag thing with my buddies and traveling and fishing.
And a quick question: was there a catalyst that made you say, "Hey guys, we should do this"? Like, was it like maybe you were going through a magazine, saw like a fly fishing movie or something that you're like, I need to explore?
Wonderful question, and great job pulling me back there. Yeah, absolutely. So as a kid growing up, Saturday mornings, you had ESPN Outdoors, and that was my thing. So watching Jose Wehebe, Flip Pallet, some of the bass guys like Bill Dance, Jimmy Houston. I mean, that's what I watched.
Absolutely.
Laying down on the floor with my dog, watching TV, all morning, watching fishing. So I would say like Jose was one of the biggest, like, I don't know. He was able to show me a vision of what life could be like as far as
what
traveling.
was possible.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And the more I watched, the more I experienced things and tried things out, I just got deeper and deeper into it to where like, all of a sudden now I saw Jose out there deep dropping for tuna, speed jigging. So like, okay, I want to go try to do that. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and throughout this, my dad would also, try to support me. He didn't love fishing, but he knew that I did. So he would take me on these like little 8-hour red snapper trips out of like Galveston or Corpus.
Like a whole group of people.
Yep.
Awesome.
You got it. Party boats. Oh yeah. And he's getting sick and like, it's not a great experience, but he put up with it and, and did it for me. And back then it was very different. Like I think snapper limits back then were like 8 fish, not like they are now. So it was worth it from a food perspective.
For sure.
Right. Another cool trip I did when I was young that I think was really impactful for me. My buddies and I think we're 15, 16 years old. Only a few of us had cars at this time. And we had heard about Matagorda Island State Park. And it's still a state park today, but there used to be a ferry that would take you over from Port O'Connor. It's about a 45-minute, boat ride over there. And there were rangers on the island and they had trucks and you'd say, hey, will you ferry us across the island and dump us over on the surf side? So we'd come over with our fishing stuff or camping gear, and we'd be there for like 4 or 5 days at a time. And we did that trip several times.
Wow.
So I loved, just hopping around from surf to the bay. There's a whole bunch of great fishing around there. The amount of redfish and sharks that are just right there in the surf it was insane back in the late 90s. So it goes back to, just being right place, right time, target rich environments and not a whole lot of people there at the time.
Absolutely. At that point, had you put any silver in the air or you hadn't really gotten into the big game stuff?
No, I had not. So at that point I hadn't. It wasn't a few years later that I did get into it.
Okay, well, we'll get there when we get there. Now, when you're targeting these fish, these red fish and sharks, you're only doing conventional, or you half and half, 50-50 fly fishing conventional? Like, what is your main kind of like medium of painting the picture that is fishing?
Sure. So at that age, around 15, 16 years old, I'm throwing spinning gears and bait casters, really throwing like spoons, soft plastics, love throwing topwater, still do. Like I'll still throw topwater all day. That's fun for me. Trout in the surf. That's my thing.
Wow.
Obviously love fly, and that's a big part of it too. But I have a little bit of everything when it comes to like fishing gear, and I still like doing everything. I still like going offshore and I'll take my, big popping rods, my big, 18K spinners, and I'll also have a 12 weight, and I'll do some really dumb shit with the 12 weight.
I think we've all done that.
Yeah.
Especially when I didn't know what class tip it was. And so I would just completely ignore the breaking tippet and just go like straight 30, straight 40, straight 60. And it's dangerous.
I've run straight 80 more than once, and 80 does break. I've learned that too.
All right. So we're in the 15, 16-year-old range. You're still not at 18. What now, continue the story a little bit.
Okay. So eventually I started hearing more and more about the Texas surf in different places. Learned about some spots up in Galveston and very popular areas. A lot of folks know about them in the fish time. And my dad and I would go at that age, and we'd get a bucket of shrimp, go wade, catch some trout, flounder, redfish. So that was a really cool experience with him doing that at that age. And eventually, like, I wanted to be able to drive up and down the surf. And Texas is wonderful, open beaches. Like, that's a huge, huge privilege and right that we have that a lot of other places don't.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to fish the surf, and my dad and I did it a few times. He was okay with it, didn't really love it, but I did. Like, I just fell in love with it.
Why?
You have no idea what's out there. Like, anything from a, I don't know, ladyfish up to a 14-foot hammerhead. It's swimming right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you cast in, you don't know what you're going to get. We can talk being surprised by giant stingrays that I step on and slide down. They're so thick and so tall, or getting bumped by sharks, getting hit in the leg.
Part of the food chain.
Oh yeah. You're stepping into it.
Yeah. I've done. When I spoke to Craig Oatman, he even mentioned having some big tarpon get hit by like or not get hit, but get chased by some big tiger sharks, and that they were like almost residential. Like, they would come in at a certain point every summer, and it was like, I know you. And it's crazy to see how there is so much like cyclical life movement in such an open, vast area. Like, you wouldn't think that fish would consistently cycle back to certain areas. But I wouldn't think that. Obviously, I don't have that much experience in the surf. But it is really interesting to see how, again, something so vast, so giant like the ocean can still have so many micro communities, like, I don't know if you would call it like paths and stuff. But I think that stuff is super interesting.
Absolutely. And it changes. Like, I could tell you stories from what I saw, 20, 30 years ago to what I see now, and how patterns have changed. And, for instance, I'll give you one. Jacks.
Okay.
So jacks back in late 90s, 2000s, probably one of the easiest fish to target. Like, drive up and down the beach, you're going to see birds. And underneath the birds, you're going to find jacks. And you knew every morning, hey, just go drive, you're going to find them. And it was really that simple. Like, and they eat everything. It doesn't really matter what you throw in front of them. They're going to eat it
fast.
Yeah, just move it. We have these, they're probably, I want to say like 12-inch long, stupid looking topwaters. They're just, walk the dog. They're
with
dumb.
the 3 hooks on them all the way through.
No, bigger than that.
Really?
Oh yeah. So you're thinking those super spooks with 3 hooks? No, that's small compared to some of these. I mean, they look stupid. They're huge. And we bought them just as a joke to be funny. And they work, man. Like, those jacks will eat them up. They're so dumb. It's funny. Like, of all the topwaters that I've thrown, that's probably one of the ones that like they just love. It's
really
stupid. Yeah.
And so how has it changed since?
Okay. Yeah. So the beach changes, currents change. And that has definitely happened. Some of the formations on the beach change as well. Like, you can see distinct changes over 20 years. There used to be certain spots where you knew that there was going to be some really deep, tall sand, a whole lot of shell. And back then, 4-wheel drive vehicles, they weren't as reliable as they are today. And it was a lot harder for trucks to get through some of those spots.
Oh, you're saying there's a bunch of like natural bottlenecks that wouldn't let people get through to the good stuff.
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
And there just wasn't the number of people fishing there are now as well.
If you're enjoying this episode or any others and want to support the project, I would highly encourage you to check out my new book, Laguna. 288 pages with over 300 images and illustrations, containing excerpts by Eric Glass, Chuck Nizer, Tim O'Brien, Bill Gamble, Ben Paschal, Ryan Sparrow, Michaela Elliott, Rick Hartman, Jaco Lucas, John Pilmer, Corey Bauman, Brian Robinson, and myself. Available at select stores, or you can order it directly at buylagunabook.myshopify.com.
But those currents, they also change, I believe, the beach makeup, where you have deeper sand, more shell. That's just where things are deposited. I think the combination of currents changing, in addition to probably some of the Menhaden, bait boats that are, gobbling up all that bait, as well as a whole lot of folks now shark fishing, taking a bunch of jacks.
Yeah.
And then the combination of beach traffic as well, just people driving the beach, all that's changed. And the reason I kind of have some evidence that is part of the change is when COVID happened, traffic slowed down, things kind of went back to how they used to be, man. It was really cool for a while.
Yeah. It felt like that, across the whole bay. One of the things I'll give to even add more credit to your point is, when Craig and I were talking, he had mentioned the bridge going down, right? And so what him and Larry did was, they took an extra Suzuki Samurai and they put it on the island. Now, the only issue was that the ferry wouldn't start till 6 a.m.
Yep.
So, this, like, imagine just being eager and like clawing at the ability to go fish, and you're just waiting for someone to come get you. But what he had mentioned to me was that the jack fishing had almost essentially gone back to the way it was. And that's one of the things he said was that he thinks that when it was 100% the beach traffic, people slamming doors and everything that really keeps fish not offshore more, but definitely a little bit lower and more kind of not as happy, not as aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely. All bets are off when you have millions of croaker in the surf, right? There's always exceptions to the rule, but absolutely see all that. You see the same thing with trout. Like if you have the opportunity to fish during the middle of the week, low traffic, run the beach, take a bike. If you got one of those e-bikes, just, fat tire bike, and ride, get away from your vehicle, you'd be surprised what you can see real shallow.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Big trout just right there.
I've never taken a trout on the surf.
No?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man.
I talk to guys like you, talk to guys like you, talk to guys like JC, and it's like, I hear it. It's like, man, that would be so cool. But
It's a blast.
Every time that I could go and do it on the surf, it's like, I wonder if they're in 6 inches, on the grass somewhere. So it's hard for me to want to do it, but it's something that I would love to do.
Yeah, you should come with us.
That would be something that would be awesome. And I could bring my camera. We could have a really fun time doing that. Now, we're still talking about jacks. How old were you when you started meddling with, the big game?
So there's different types of big game. I was going offshore, catching yellowfin, probably my mid-20s, catching 5-6 foot sharks in the surf, probably late teens, early 20s. I was running jetties as well, probably early to mid 20s, started doing that and would see some things, but wasn't really great at
predicting
when, targeting, patterning things.
Gotcha.
Once you start spending some time, it's all about spending time, man. You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
You got to go just to know if they're there or not and just experience it and be happy even when they're not there. And that can be, surf trout, or it can be big fish on the jetties, whether that's jacks, tarpon, whatever you're going after, redfish.
Now, Was there a specific reason that you decided to move from the sand over to the rocks? Or was that again more so like, hey, like we're already at the end of the jetty or at the end of the sand, why not?
So I spent time fishing, like doing family trips out to Corpus and Port A. Excuse me. And those jetties were just very accessible. Super easy to take a rod, get away from the family for a little bit, go catch some trout. I mean, I had days it was stupid catching 60, 70 trout. Just, it doesn't take a lot of effort when you just have giant schools just sitting
right there with their mouths open.
Yeah. They're not always huge fish, but it was just fun. Easy to pattern, easy to, fish. All you need is, DOA shrimp and fish to be there. Doesn't take much. Excuse me. Get some water. So that slowly progressed to wanting to catch bull reds. And then, all right, I know how to catch bull reds. I know how to cast a 3-ounce spoon, let it drop, bounce the bottom. Reds are going to eat. Start learning about tides, start learning about, the buffet line and what it takes for fish to be there. And you start being able to predict water temps. You just get patterns. Like, that's one thing I would tell folks, like, don't skip the steps.
Yeah.
Like, put the time in, track what you're doing, learn the patterns, and things start to make sense more. And those coincidences aren't really coincidences after a while. The other thing, if you want a shortcut or speed things up a bit, there's so many books out there.
Really?
Like older books.
Like I have a Fishing and Hunting in Texas by Richard Stilwell. I have the Texas Tarpon Club by I was gonna say Shannon Tompkins, wrong guy, Rob Sawyer, and a couple other of those. But I had no idea that there were other books that even guys like you would use.
Absolutely. So I started reading like Plugger and all the classics, right?
There,
yeah. So you just gain little bits and over time. Everyone has downtime.
Yeah.
And rather than scroll your phone on Instagram or whatever, like if you want to do research and that's a big thing to you, there's just stuff out there. Like, shoot, I haven't tried AI to figure this out, but I'm sure AI would help you if you really wanted to.
I'm gonna be completely honest. Like one of my favorite resources has been AI, but because it's not often that I find myself being able to talk to someone who I can bounce ideas off of, who've seen the same things, who've drawn the same conclusions, and on top of that, someone I trust enough to do the talking.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not an ad for AI. I'm honestly super against AI data centers, but
same.
It has been a tool. It definitely has been a tool that I don't tell many people about. It sounds kind of counterintuitive, but I don't tell many people about it because it is nice to be able to converse and be like, I saw this, mark this, tell me why. And it tells you why. And even though, one of the reasons might be wrong, it may give you another, tidbit of information or a piece of data that you weren't paying attention to before. And then there it's like, okay, now I can bring this into my own game. Now I wake up the next day, it's like, okay, what is this doing? Yep. If that makes any sense. So it works, but you also you take it with a grain of salt because sometimes, it is just a learning language model. Like you need to use it, skeptically.
Absolutely. So there's data-rich areas where you can use AI and feel more secure about it. Fishing's not one of them.
If anything, I'm training it right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that smart. But like you said, you do find certain people in your life that you do trust, that have put in the work, that that, hey, they're not going to blow up my spot, or they value the information, the experiences that I've lived because they've lived the same stuff. And once you find those folks and start bouncing ideas off of, holy cow. Yeah. Your growth is just exponential at that point.
Totally agree. It's one of the things I used to, even at the very beginning of the podcast, like a couple of years ago, 3 now, I was very hush-hush about my stuff. And here I thought that, there's a little bit of ego in there, but here I thought that I knew all these secret things and whatever. And the minute that I was like, kind of just became a little bit more aloof to it and was like, I'm going to start sharing a little bit with people I think I can trust. And most people haven't screwed me over yet. it was very interesting to see how many people had seen different things in different areas that you could also like add to the data, add to data, add to data. And I completely agree that there's like a sweet spot in terms of how much you give and how much you can get out to where you and a handful of people can truly like exponentially grow.
Absolutely. And sharing those experiences with someone is so much more meaningful than doing it by yourself. Like, don't get me wrong, I like being alone. I've spent weeks out fishing by myself. I actually had, so when I say weeks, I mean by myself consecutively. I got laid off from a job about 4 years ago. Got a nice severance package and had some money and some time.
Hell yeah.
And I took advantage of it. And I fished my ass off. And literally spending, 10 nights on the beach in a row.
Wow.
I went out west, fished a whole bunch of rivers out west for trout, all fly fishing. And that's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. You learn a lot. You learn about yourself. You learn about fishing. But it's really cool to actually have those experiences with people that you like and trust. And you can, have those core memories when you can't do it anymore.
I agree. I totally agree. And I'll take it a step further. There's just something that's more, there's like a slightly greater reward when it's an experience or a world-class experience, if you will, on your own waters that you kind of earned your way to.
Yes.
Where, you put in the time and you knew that on this tide, on this, whatever, that's where you need to be. And then all of a sudden it almost exceeds your expectations. And like that dopamine rush is just so much more than if you were, and I'm all about traveling and fishing. I've done it a lot. I love it. But to have a guide take you there and do it and just say cast or, do whatever, it's cool. But when you're the one who put it together, it's one of the most rewarding feelings.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Don't get me wrong. Like, you go on a vacation, you don't have time normally to spend a day or two and learn everything. You're not going to. You're not going to scratch the surface. So guides are definitely worth
Super.
Spending that money, learning. And usually they're really cool guys and you have a great time with them as well. So I've done trips by myself with a guide, and man, just the conversation and learning can be really quick rather than having a good time with your buddy. So that's another way to learn. But when you put in the time and you figure it out, you do it by yourself, it's so much more rewarding and just a richer experience overall.
Absolutely. It's a more defining experience because you start to really feel like you're part of the ecosystem and you can read it and you can actually like understand it. It almost sounds a little woo woo when I say it, but I really do stand by it. Like there were plenty of days, and I don't want to make this about myself. We're going to get back into your story in a second, but it's really exciting to be able to talk about this stuff. There were a couple of days where, I started looking at the Lower Laguna Madre almost like an entity in and of itself. Like it was like, what are you going to show me today versus I'm going to go and spot fish. It's a subtle difference, but god damn, is it such a, at least when you get there, I don't know how to explain it. I can't put it into words. It's just a really cool, juxtaposition to what is spot fishing or, I found this one day and here I am, bobber out, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. If you've already had your mind set up on what you're going to do and not take what the ocean gives you,
it's a recipe for disaster.
You might be successful, but you're missing out.
Yes.
There's so much more cool stuff that you can do. The word that was on the tip of my tongue as you were talking about, the experience in Lower Laguna Madre being its own entity is like ownership. Like you feel ownership for that spot. You want to take care of it. You want to protect it. You put so many hours. Man, JC and I were doing the math the other day, and like between the two of us, days on the sand, like I think he came up with, he actually lived on the beach for a while. Like,
really?
Like lived. The only other person I know that did that was Billy Sandifer.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the only other guy I know, and he had his reasons for doing it, and so did JC.
Wow.
I think I did the math at one point. I had 2 years of my life just on the beach.
Wow.
And JC's probably a little bit more than that. I'm a little bit older than him and doing it a little longer, but yeah.
And at any point, when you were first running the sand, first, getting onto the rocks, like, in like the competitive fishing mindset, were you rubbing shoulders with any of like the big name guys who were running the sand? Like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So I've met a lot of folks that, I wouldn't say famous because I don't know.
I'm not trying to say famous, but like people to you where you're like, oh man, I heard that guy, did this.
Sure.
That's a better way to put it.
So there wasn't really, there was internet, but it was in its infancy. Mm-hmm. So a lot of stuff was books and a lot of stuff was magazines. There was a couple forums in the
Too Cool Fishing. Yeah.
Too Cool. Extreme Coast. I don't know if you were.
Never got a chance to do that one.
That thing was amazing. And I'm so mad at Oz for not backing that thing up and saving it for posterity, the trip reports.
Wow.
Man, the trip reports would get me through some really shitty times at work. Whenever I was stressed out, I'm like, all right, I'm going to pull up a trip report so I can get some dopamine real quick.
Yeah. Wow.
They were really cool. It was a great community and a bit toxic at times, as was the early internet.
Everyone knows what they're doing behind a keyboard.
Yeah. But it was fun times. So I learned a lot by just reading and watching what other people did. I ran across folks, and I've fished with Billy in the past.
How was that? I'd like to dig in a little bit into that if you want to.
Yeah. Billy's awesome. Oh man, I have so many stories, and several aren't appropriate.
You can censor what you need. I don't care, man. I would like to get a little bit of insight to someone like that.
Billy was a legend. Like, he loved the beach, loved fishing, he loved birding. And the guy was a nut about birds. He loved birds. Could tell stories for days. He had so many sayings. There's a lot of other folks that know him better than I do, but I know him a little bit and got to fish with him a few times and corresponded with him through email over the years. He was someone I really looked up to, and he really treated the surf and the beach like home. Mm-hmm. And oh man, I'm thinking through all the stories now, and there's some that I have to protect innocence, so I can't tell you too much. But Billy had a mouth on him, and he would talk shit about everybody. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'll give you one.
Yes.
So I'm fishing with Billy. My wife's with us. Mm-hmm. And I'm throwing little she dog top water for trout. And we've had a great day already. We've got jacks. We're into trout now. And I hook probably, 6-7 pound trout, nice trout. And right at the, surf, right at the beach, the sand, when I'm pulling the trout up, fish flops, comes off, gets off the hook, swims back. No picture, nothing. I go and I'm looking at the lure. I'm checking out the hooks. Billy walks over to me, snatches the lure out of my hand, touches his finger to the hooks, and he's like, "Ooh, rattlesnake fangs." He's basically telling me, "You fucked up. Those were good hooks." That was his way of saying, "Yeah, that's on you. That's not on the lure or anybody else."
Oh, I hate to be you.
Another one. Billy was big on not slamming doors. Mm-hmm. Like, you slam the door,
go home.
Back in the truck. We're moving. We're going to the next spot. Yeah. And his old, truck was, the door probably weighed 400 pounds. The damn thing was heavy. No, just some great trips, great times. There's a lot of people over the years that I've met. Some folks still doing it. Like Oz is still running hard, and he's pretty.
Someone worth looking into for a podcast.
Yes, absolutely. If he'll do it,
I'll get his information from you after.
Oz is great. He's already had a lot of publicity, and he's more of a quiet guy. Like, I've probably said 10 words to Oz in my life. Like,
really?
When we run across each other all the time, I just let him do his thing and don't bother him. And that's, I think, how he wants to be. That's cool.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Now, I would like to kind of, do a little bit of segue and talk a little bit more about, your own tarpon stories.
Sure.
And that's one of the coolest things about guys like you and JC is, like, I know that you guys are sticking very big fish, like, at least consistently, right? Now, the thing that is interesting is that you guys don't show anybody anything. And that's one of the coolest things. It's like, I don't know. To me, it's one of those things where the stories can outlive the images because no one's ever seen them, or no one, I don't know if they will or whatever. I don't know how you guys plan to do what you guys plan to do with them. But it is one of those things that's exciting to me because, they're, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's such a trophy fish that anyone would catch and be like, I need to show it off.
Yeah.
And then again, there are guys like you, guys like JC, who are like, I'm going to keep this one to myself, near and dear to the heart. And I got a lot of respect for guys like that.
I appreciate that. I think that's something that kind of learned over time as well. Mm-hmm. Make some mistakes. If you say too much or post too much, guess what? Your spots are lined up with people when you go back. And sometimes those folks haven't put in the work to know to take care of those fish and really appreciate what they have, the opportunity to catch them. And fish die. Like, tarpon's a great, big, strong fish, but it's not as hardy as people think.
It ain't immortal.
No. No. And they need to be taken care of, kept in the water, especially big fish. Like, get in the water, get your photo, let it go.
And they're much cooler picture if you're in the water holding that thing up versus if you've dragged that thing up on the rock and it's all scaled out and stuff.
Absolutely agree. Learned over the years that there's a lot of folks that fish that can't swim. Yeah, believe it or not. And the jetty's not a safe place, man. I'm a bigger guy. JC's a bigger guy. And we've both had our ass handed to us by waves. We've seen friends that are smaller that have disappeared and popped up 20 yards down the rocks. It happens.
Wow.
So that said, we've learned to be quiet. I've learned to be quiet about what's going on. Mm-hmm. I used to do something that we jokingly called Poonsgiving. So after the season, I would dump a whole bunch of photos.
I think that was the last bunch of pictures you posted about the tarpon were when you did that too, like 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, it's been a little while. I even stopped pretty much. I stopped a lot before then. And what I went away from doing was hero shots, really, and more like focused on photography. Like, if I'm going to show a photo, it's because it's a cool photo, not because, hey, look at this fish I caught.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do more of that.
Yeah, I respect that. I do the same thing.
Yeah. And like, no one cares about seeing a photo of me. I mean, they just want to see the fish, right? I'm not some 20-year-old influencer. I'm an old dude. No one gives a crap about what I look like or
I do.
My photo. So I've tried to do that. And I've also tried to be more in the moment. Like, I don't take a photo of every fish I catch. I don't need to.
Yeah.
Like, just live in the moment, enjoy the experience. If I'm taking photos, it's because I want to take a cool photo. And of the fish, of the environment, not of some hero catch. No one cares about that. No one cares about the hero shot.
Some of the best pictures I've ever seen of tarpon taken were ones that you took of JC.
Yeah.
Right. My favorite one is the one where he's holding it up and it's just him and the tarpon, and it's just not even the whole. You can't even see the whole fish. It's just the head.
Yeah.
But god damn, is that such a good picture?
Thank you. Yeah, that stuff I'm all for. Like, but I have to be in that mindset. All right, at least at this point, like, I'm here to take photos, and it's because I want to take photos. More recently, I've taken my camera out and just not even. It's in my bag. I don't even take it out. Just enjoy the experience, and I've done that more and more for whatever reason.
I mean, it seems altruistic, but it seems like, I also completely understand.
The one exception I will say is like when I do trips. Like, recently just got back from Argentina. I went to Jurassic Lake, Lago Strobel. And that place is just amazing. It's so beautiful, so fun. It's just so wild and raw. You're fishing literally next to pumas. And I'm not even kidding. Like, they're 50 yards away, 100 yards away. You're seeing them. You're catching 10 to 20 pound fish,
Yeah, and actually, we'll get there in a second. Before we segue into it, we've done a lot of precursor talking about tarpon.
Yeah.
Why don't we just do like 3 of your favorite stories of tarpon? Like I told you before we started, it's just like, I want you, even if you don't, but I want you to have the option to 20 years from now when you can't do it anymore, you can look back and be like, damn, I'm glad I told those stories.
Sure. Okay. Here's a good one. There's one trip JC and I are fishing, and we're in them pretty good. JC gets a nice triple-digit fish.
Wow.
Big old head on this thing. And as he's, trying to get the photo and kind of getting it settled in, and it kind of faked him out thinking that it was docile.
Giving it over, yeah.
No. That fish flops and it hits his head against JC's head. Like almost knocks him out, like guy's seeing stars.
Wow.
We get a quick photo, get the fish off, swam off, good. Fish was never out of the water. It just somehow lifted its head up and hit JC and the whole thing. And we get back to the truck when we're done, and we're just hanging out. It's hot, and I look over at JC, and he's got fish jizz, poon jizz all over his big red beard. So he's got slime. It looks like this fish jizzed all over him. And I'm like trying to hold in the laughter as I pull out my phone and take a picture of it. And he's got literal like fish clumps all over his beard. The slime just kind of solidified. It's like gel all over him. So I still have that photo, and I don't think I've shared that one, but that's a pretty fun story.
Now, I guess the next story I'll ask for is, would you say you've had some of like, maybe one of your more memorable days by yourself? We just talked about how you don't photograph, all the time. I feel like that would be another good, kind of topic to go into is, one of your favorite days that you kind of went through and didn't even take a picture, but now it lives in your head forever.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more descriptive this time. I know you can. Okay. I don't want you to give away spots. I don't want you to give away tricks or tips. None of that bullshit.
Sure.
I want to live it through your perspective.
Okay. I'll give one for you. Our Texas coast has more juvenile tarpon than people know.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you where. I'm not
asking for any of that.
I know you're not. I know you're not. But they are there. And there's some big numbers at times. And once you pattern these fish, the patterns are the same year after year. They don't change a whole lot. They're very predictable. I'd probably say they're one of the easiest fish to pattern once you know what's going on. I got into the juvie poons, and we're talking anywhere from little micros that are like a foot long to probably about 3-4 footers.
Okay.
And I'm by myself. JC's, I can't remember why he wasn't able to go. It was just me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm there for 3 days, and I'm just on them, like all fly rod, all myself. And they're really easy to handle because they're smaller fish.
Mm-hmm.
So no problem there. Being by myself catching poons. If they're smaller, it's not a big deal. Big ones, you need someone with you. Like fishing by yourself for big poons is.
You have to be part of the food chain just to get to connect to them, grab them.
You do.
Totally agree.
You do. It's not safe for you. It's not safe for the fish. Mm-mm. So much can go wrong.
Yep.
So I don't recommend that. Like always have a buddy, have a system ready on how to land fish. Get your photo really quick if that's important to you, and get that fish safely back to its home.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the little juvie poon story, I had one morning, man, where I caught 6 poons on fly in maybe an hour and a half. And I was like, I'm good. I'm going to go sit, have a beer, and just enjoy. That's all I needed. That's plenty of fish. So you have some good days like that. It's not every day, but they do happen.
That's awesome. I've had days, where, and some people don't really won't agree with it. I don't really care. I know that I'm not hurting anybody when I use my drone. I actually really like to just observe. And there are days where, I'll have rods in the boat. I won't fish.
Yeah. I
will just sit there and watch them. And I've been able to record some very, very, rare moments. I have two videos of very large trout eating undisturbed, just sitting, and then
yeah.
You're never going to see that ever unless you had access to that video.
Yep.
And I've teased it one time on my Instagram. I'm not going to post it. It's one of those things that I'm going to keep to myself because it took a lot. Like it took a lot of days where you just sit there and you're just like, I could fish. They're right there. I'm going to leave them alone. I'm just going to see what they do. And funny enough, even in those days, moments where you just sit and watch and you don't actually engage, I feel like you actually learn a little bit more about fish behavior and how they react and stuff like that, to the point where it's like, it's still a net benefit to do. And obviously there are very few, I would say, not many people have the ability to fish as often to where they have a moment like that and they can, in their right mind, pass it up.
Yep.
So, for the majority of people listening to this, go fish, do your thing, get tight. But for the people who have that, like, are just a little bit more fortunate to be able to do something like that, I think that it does pay off one way or another.
It does. I mean, going back to Billy and a story here, there's one wonderful trip I had with him. Caught fish all day, had a blast. Sun's going down. We're going back off the beach. Mm. And I said something like, "Oh man, I don't want to go home. I don't want this day to end." And he's like, "You were home all day, son. You're going back to your house now." And that's something that always stuck with me. Like, yeah, that is my home. That's where I feel me. That's where I'm the happiest. That's where, like, I don't have to perform either at a job and pretend to be some professional that I'm not, or, have the responsibilities of, wife, my spouse and kids. Like when I'm alone fishing, all that goes away and I'm just me. Mm-hmm. And that's just one thing I love about the beach.
Wow. Yeah. And okay, I won't ask for a third story for tarpon. In fact, I did the same exact question with JC. What is like a misconception in terms of handling tarpon?
Okay.
I think that's important. Not many, I feel like I don't have a chance to talk to many guys like y'all. And I would really like to hammer in the fact that there is a right and wrong way to handle fish, land fish, etc.
Absolutely. And there's a way to learn it as well. Like, no one just knows, right? Mm-hmm. Someone has to teach you. So, and it's taken me a while, and I've had some moments. And one thing that I need to work on and be better about is when I see people mistreating fish, don't yell at them. Don't be an asshole. Teach. Because I've made that mistake, and I've gotten into fights and arguments with people that I see killing poons because I love them. I want them to take care of them, but I also need to be able to teach in a way that's constructive. Because when I'm just yelling at somebody for killing a fish, all they're hearing is me yelling. They're not hearing the message of, hey, we got to protect the fish.
Gotcha.
So I'm not being effective in my message. Mm-hmm. So I've made that mistake.
Or the delivery is what's being ineffective. The message, I'm sure, was plenty effective.
Yeah. Yeah. Then they heard me yelling. Yeah. And then they told me about it afterwards.
And that's why they're blacklisted.
What I would say is definitely keep your hands away from their gills. I'm not saying gill plate. I'm saying their gills. So there's a difference, right? If you just grab the mouth and you're not in a boat, or even in a boat, like if you just grab the lips, they're really hard to control. That's a really big fish thrashing around and just holding the lips. And I know captains do that, and that's what they do. They're awesome at it. Your average person probably can't do that. So if you can slide your hand under the gill plate, don't touch the gill, it's just the gill plate. And another hand on the belly, that's probably the best you can do for most folks, especially for big fish. Don't get the fish out of the water, especially if it's a big fish, keep it completely in the water. Get your photo. You need to get in the water. Yeah. Like, you need to be part of the food chain. There's no way you can hold a triple digit fish if you're fishing off the jetty or even you happen to catch one on the beach. You need to get in the water. And that means, hey, you're part of the food chain, and there are some large predators swimming around. There's a reason those poons are there. And the same reason applies to a lot of other fish that are swimming around.
Poons aren't immortal either. They get eaten.
Absolutely. I've seen fish swim off and float from exhaustion. That sucks. Not 15, 20 minutes later, there's a meal had by several fish. Wow. That happens.
Wow.
So yeah, you're in the food chain when you're down there releasing them.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned something about getting bumped by a shark a couple times.
Yeah, it's happened more than once. It happened to me recently. It's catching a whole bunch of snook in a channel. I'm probably maybe calf deep. I'm having a blast. It's dusk. They're not big snook, probably 15, 22 inches, but nice fish.
Awesome, yeah.
On fly, I'm having a blast. And at dusk at times, I mean, that's kind of what happens. Well, like I was saying, snook aren't the only fish there. And there's a reason there's other fish there and the snook are there. There's a lot of food. So probably after about, I don't know, eighth or ninth snook I bring to hand, getting another one. I'm about to lip it. I have probably about a 4-foot shark just slamming in my calf. I'm in flip-flops. There goes a flip-flop. I'm, you know where you're so scared you can't even like scream. It's just like air's like escaping, like squeaking out. That was me. I was like, oh, I'm fucked. But no, he was going after the snook. He wasn't trying to bite my calf. I was just in his way.
Yeah.
So my flip-flop floated away. I never got that back.
Litter bug.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that happens. And not even 24 hours later, we wake up the next day, JC's down the channel fishing somewhere, comes back. He's like, yeah, I just had some 6-7 foot bull just come rise up from the deep and look me in the eye and sink back down. And yep, time to get out of the water.
Wow.
It happens.
It's funny because like when I was really into the surf stuff, and it was only for one summer when I didn't have my skiff, I wanted to swim out to the third sandbar. I never got to the third. I only stayed in the second. And it was multiple times where I would use, my Yeti Ponga backpack kind of like as a floaty. Right. Yeah. And so here I am like, holding my rod in one hand and I'm like, basically like, doggy paddling my way over to the third sandbar. And every single time it's just that daunting feeling of, yeah, it could happen. I'm very much just dangling in front of the food chain right now. And every time it was just enough for me to turn back and at least stay on the second. And it was one of those things where it's like, it happens, they're there, but there's that part of you that's like, well, what if it doesn't happen today? And so it makes you want to push a little further. But I've never really wanted to, get caught with my pants around my ankles on the third sandbar,
No, I mean, you accept that whenever you step in that could happen. The odds are small, but if you spend enough time in the water,
it's going to happen.
Probably. You'll have a run in it at the very least. You'll see them.
For sure.
There's one time, I think it was last summer, got chased out of the water by a shark. Like literally, shark beached itself. Jason and I were fishing next to each other. Shark went after him and like he had to like run out of the water.
No shit.
Yep.
A little more detail? Or?
Yeah. So we're trout fishing. I mean, shit like this happens, right?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. What you sign up for?
Yeah, it is. We're not even like ankle deep. It's morning. It's early. There's a ton of bait, whole bunch of mullet and shallow in the wade gut, catching trout, and not even hooked up to a trout at this point. Just ankle deep of water. And I imagine the shark was probably chasing mullet and then saw JC.
Wow. And
maybe saw JC's toes or something. I don't know, but it wanted to eat something and JC had to like scoot out of there real quick.
Really?
Yeah. But you see, this is probably a smaller shark, probably about 4 or 5 footer, but enough to do damage.
Just take away a toe.
Exactly. But you see some big sharks in the wade gut.
Yeah.
And by big sharks, I mean 7-8 foot bulls. I've seen pictures of big tigers. I've seen hammers in close. I mean, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Craig Oatman had mentioned again, seeing tiger sharks swim through the ladder. So like him and Larry Haynes had built ladders to put on the second sandbar. So you get up and they could actually sight fish on the third or on the second gut going to third sandbar. And he said that one of the wildest things is you look down and there's just this submarine with stripes on it, and it means business if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I mean that's what you're signing up for, unfortunately. But you do it because you love it, and that's part of it. But chances are small.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not likely.
All right. Now we done a little bit of the surf stuff. Let's kind of gravitate a little bit towards, your trips. You just mentioned, hitting Jurassic Lake, which is, I'd love to go over. Is there other trips that you'd like to highlight before we start on that one?
Let's hit that one, and then I'll share another one in Alaska. I think was pretty cool.
Oh, cool. And then we can end on that. We'd probably be at like an hour and 20.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, cool. So I've been to Jurassic twice now. I went 2 years ago, and then 2 years before that, I had gone to Patagonia with my dad. Didn't fish Jurassic, but got to fish at Torres del Paine, and then El Chalten for salmon as well and trout. So I'd been down to Patagonia before, but Jurassic's it's so much fun. It's not what I would call like very rewarding fishing.
Why is that?
To me, rewarding fishing is like when you have to really put in effort and work
gotcha.
and like find the fish and, learn a pattern. Jurassic, like, it's just fun. Like, you're going to catch a ton of really big fish. They're going to eat. Like, your biggest thing is, can you cast and win? Because if you can't cast in 40-mile-per-hour wind, you're probably not going to fish 3 out of the 7 days.
Wow.
Like, you have to be able to cast and win. And the guys that can't, I mean, yeah, you'll still catch fish, but not the same.
What kind of rods are y'all throwing? 9s, 10s?
No. So I took a 5, a 7, and 2 8s.
Awesome.
And I probably fished the 7 the most. I did fish the 5 for the river. So they have a river, Barrancoso River, that's pretty amazing as well. Tons of huge fish in there. Tried the 5 in there, and I got my ass handed to me by a big fish.
Yeah, you were telling me about it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a blast, but yeah, I could not. That fish finally took me in a hole, and I was done. You can't control a 10, 12 pound
And you're
trout.
throwing a 5-weight rod into what, a 40-mile-an-hour cross?
So this was in the river, so it's kind of up in like canyon-ish type.
A little bit protected.
It's a little protected.
Gotcha.
The wind's not as big of a deal there.
Okay.
And the river's not real wide. It's maybe 30, 40 feet wide. It's not wide. You're just sight fishing giant fish in really clear, shallow water, like small water. It's wonderful.
That's so sweet.
It's cool. Not very challenging. So I thought, okay, I'll use a 5-weight to make it challenging. No, you can't control a fish like that. It's just not going to happen. Too many rocks, too many boulders.
Wow.
So switch back to the 7 and it's a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
But on the big lake, you can fish, if there's no wind, you could fish a 5, no problem. Like, especially early in the morning, the fish come in real close. And anything from, a 5-pound rainbow up to 15, 20-pound rainbows in a foot of water, maybe 15, 20 feet away from you.
Damn footballs.
Yeah, they're huge. The one thing that is different, and this is comparing to rainbows that I've caught in like Alaska, and I don't want to call them real rainbows because they're real rainbows in Argentina too, but they get really, really fat and real round eating scuds.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really have to fight current unless, they're going up into the Barrancoso, but it's not current like fishing some wild river up in Alaska. Or a rainbow up there, like those fish just have muscle. Like their tails are probably 2 times the size of a Jurassic rainbow.
Makes sense. Yeah.
They just have a very different life. Like they don't have the scuds there to gorge themselves. They probably don't grow as quickly on average. They have plenty of food, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same. Like their life is much harder, more wild than a place like Jurassic, where those fish have everything right there in front of them. They're living good, other than the cold. Yeah, they're doing awesome.
But I always figured that if I had it correct, I thought that the Jurassic Lake area was always warmer because there was like a volcano nearby, volcano under. I thought I had read that somewhere. I could be completely wrong.
So it was a volcano that collapsed.
Okay.
And then formed the crater.
Gotcha.
Right, and then the river flowed into it, filled it up, and a whole bunch of scuds became the main forage there. There's no real bait fish. It's just all scuds, a little shrimp diet.
Wow.
And those fish just eat and eat and eat. They don't really have any predators, really. I mean, they're doing pretty awesome. Other than we did see actually the pumas got into some of the trout in the river.
Did you take a picture of that?
I did not. So I didn't get a picture of the pumas eating them. I saw the leftover remains of what they did afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that definitely does happen. Do have some pictures of pumas though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. But it's a wonderful place. These fish jump like crazy. They fight. They can get into your backing 3-4 times. They're just different though.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's not like, oh wow, I caught this giant 20-pound fish. I mean, yeah, you did, but
there's like 100 of them.
There's a whole bunch of them. Exactly. Right. Like another one of the lodge guests as we were leaving was very keen on asking like, hey, how many 20-pound fish did y'all catch? I'm like, I don't know, man. I didn't weigh every fish that we caught. Like, yeah, big fish are cool, but some folks get really competitive about this stuff, and that's just not my thing.
Heard.
Yeah.
Especially in a place like that where, like the competitiveness that makes guys like you excel on the surf and stuff isn't there, in a place like that where they're 5-10 feet and just in overload, if that makes any sense. Now I want to kind of just pick at your photographer eye here. Was there any scenes that you were able to witness, be a part of that, like there may not have been a fish involved, but you still were like this is something special? One of the reasons I ask is one of my favorite pictures that you posted from your recent trip was one where I'm pretty sure it's the moon above. It's like a very, very cool kind of background, like very kind of bluish, and the moon sticking out like a sore thumb. And I think that was you in the foreground, right, with holding the rod?
Yeah. There's a couple of photos that we got down there. So I've been fortunate to have a few buddies that are really into photography as well. Usually it's just one buddy, Justin Hamlin, wonderful photographer, loves it as much as I do, or if not more. And then this recent trip, we had another buddy, Travis, that was able to go with us, and he's really into the videography side, which
That's
Justin
awesome.
and I don't do as much.
Yeah.
We're more still photographers. And he posted some really cool videos of the trip, kind of encapsulating the experience. So yeah, absolutely. The sunrise, sunset down in Patagonia is amazing. It's a big part of that experience.
Is there anything else that you witnessed, experienced over there that you kind of hold near and dear to your heart?
The people. So the folks working there, everyone from the lodge manager to the chef to the hostess to the guides, wonderful, warm people. If you put in some effort, talk to them, they open their hearts to you, and they have so much to give as far as like knowledge and experience and culture to share. That's what I would say is like when you travel and enjoy these experiences, really you have the opportunity to bond with those folks as they're sharing their home with you. And you'll be surprised what they're able to open your eyes to. On our last trip, we had one of the folks at the lodge share his Golden Dorado guide with us, and we had a day after our trip open. So we're up in Buenos Aires, and he hooked us up with a guy named Maxie. Took us out fishing for Golden Dorado, and we had like a 200 fish Golden Dorado day. It was just one after another. It was stupid. Catching them on mice, and they're just voracious once you find them.
Really?
And that was a wonderful day. It was so much fun, just catching fish after fish after fish.
Wow.
And would have never had that experience had Julian not shared and said, hey, you guys want to go Golden Dorado fishing?
Yeah.
Very, very affordable, wonderful experience, great guide.
Wow.
And all opened up due to a relationship built over a week.
Yeah, because if you had just been treating him like the help, then he probably would have never been like, hey, like, do you want to do this? Do you want to try this? I totally see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Like people really will share things, just like I'm talking to you about things that we love, our home,
Absolutely.
Lower Laguna Madre, the surf. Like if you build relationships with folks, the doors that open and like the opportunities you have is just so much greater than you doing it by yourself.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Well, and as someone who's, been able to travel as much as you, I'm bound to bet that, or I'm betting that at some point you probably went on a trip that didn't turn out as good as you expected.
Yeah. I'll give you one that's recent, not really a trip. I've been fortunate to where most of my trips, out of the country have worked out pretty well. Just one local one. I had some buddies fly in and we were going to fish the surf and fish the jetty. And we had one wonderful day, got in a whole bunch of poons, had a blast. And then the next, I think 3 days, we were in my camper waiting out 40-mile-per-hour winds and rain.
Oh.
And they had to go the day that they were leaving and start clears up. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
But when you plan out trips, like you don't get to pick the weather when you're making flights and decisions, month in advance or more.
It's funny. I had a client book a trip in March, and March was wind. He came in on March 21st, and he could not have called it better, because that day that he got there, the day before he got there, it slowed down. The next day, the day he fished, was slick, calm. Water was real low. Nobody could get into the stuff that the fly fishing guys were getting into. And it was one of those things where I was like, dude, you got to go buy a lottery ticket after this, because like yesterday, 27 miles an hour. Yeah. Tomorrow, 29 miles an hour. Today, 8 out of the east. Are you kidding me? Like,
spring in Texas is not something you count on.
And the thing is, like, even last year, like last year was so cold in the spring. Even like going into May, there was still days where it was like consistently 60.
Yeah.
We had such a short winter this year. It was kind of annoying, to be honest, because it was really neat to finally like really get into the winter fishing so hard. One of the things I'd like to go over is, maybe you in terms of taking a big trout on fly on the surf.
Yeah, sure. I've done a few. I've done well with clousers. Mm-hmm. So in the surf, I see the surf like a river. When you've done enough trout fishing in the river, you start knowing where fish are going to be. And you know that, fish, you got to look at depth, you got to look at cover, rocks to push off of, rocks to slow them down. Fish want to be lazy when they want to be lazy, and when they want to eat, they need to be able to eat easily, right? Surf is the same way. Fish need access to deeper water quickly if necessary. So you look at, cuts through the bar. Fish also like hard edges. So you look at drop-offs and troughs in the wade gut, and if you have enough depth, you have a hard edge for that fish to push off of. So when they swipe their tail, if they have a hard edge behind them, it makes them go fast. It's like a turbo boost.
Yeah.
Right?
Compressive effect of water.
Yep. You got it. So that's how they eat easily. Less effort. So you can start calling your shots and there's probably a fish there. So dropping a clouser off that shelf into that, deep area, there's probably a good fish that's going to eat right there. On fly, probably the biggest I've got on fly is probably only 6 or 7 pounds.
Still a fantastic fish.
It's a good fish.
I mean, I caught a 30 the other day that was 7.88. So a 7-pound fish, this can be very, very good.
Yeah. In the surf, though, that can be like a 27. It's not like they're just fat, right? The surf fish are different fish as far as like girth, typically.
And okay, like you mentioned a little bit about seeing them get real skinny. The other day, I got into some fish because of my friend Ryan Sparrow. He had found a couple the day before with his dad. He was like, "Bro, get up there first thing in the morning. Like I think you'll still see them." And I mean, I was photographing those trout that I posted the other day on both knees, and I'm sitting on my feet, super low profile, and these fish are just swimming upwind towards me. And it was one of the most interesting things. And for that minute right there, it was like, I am at a loss for words to see them act so, I guess, out of pocket, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, they do what they do when we're not there.
Yeah.
And to have the opportunity to see them when they don't know you're there is wonderful. Yeah. That to me is as impressive as actually catching a big fish blind casting. Is actually getting to see a, top of its species fish behaving naturally.
Right.
That's wonderful.
Like the outliers, the stuff that, most people, if you told them, I saw a fish in 5 inches just over on the other side, they'd be like, we must have been smoking crack. And it's like, no, I wasn't. But it's one of those things you keep to your heart. It's like, And that's like kind of like a preface to what I was going to ask is like, have you had a chance to see stuff like that as well in terms of trout behavior up on the surf?
Yeah, absolutely. There are times when you're casting a foot off the sand as the waves are crashing, and that's where the trout are.
Really?
Yeah. Like everyone's casting, 100 feet out and then retrieving back. Sometimes the best way to fish it is right on the surf line, right on the sand, a couple feet off, and that's where the trout are.
Wow.
Typically it's early, first light, but there are big fish that get up shallow.
I'd love to take pictures of that stuff. I did a podcast with George Brown, and he's a really big spearfishing guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that like he would dive the jetties. He would be like, I never understood why people always throw into the deep stuff when all the fish are just right there.
Oh yeah. 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 So fishing parallel to the jetty. That's how I've been lucky with big snook.
Mm-hmm.
Throw a nice big white fly parallel to the jetty, strip it. And
You get snagged. Yep.
You're gonna get snagged. That's part of it, right?
No, I meant like that's what it feels like. The stick one is you feel like you get snagged. You're like, oh.
Well, yes, absolutely. And you do, lose flies to the rocks. Someone told me once, jetty's got to eat too. Like that's part of the game. Like if you want to catch those big snook, that's part of it. Like you got to get up in them typically.
Mm-hmm. What's the best snook you've ever taken? Not even taken, just even stuck on the rocks.
On fly, I got a 36 off the rocks. Yeah.
That's a really good fish.
I've seen bigger. I saw a photo of a 42 or 43 off the rocks. I mean, they're there. Wow. Down way south, I've seen just dozens of really big snook in clear water right off, the rocks, just swimming right by. And it doesn't matter what fly you're throwing at them. They're not eating it. They don't care. They know you're there. They're not eating anything. That's another thing. Like, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's fish that are travelers and there's fish that are eating.
Absolutely.
Right. And those travelers, yeah, you might get them to eat, but you got to hit them right on the nose. And it's like a reaction strike. It's not them wanting to eat. You made them eat.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny, I'll mention this and then we'll start to wrap it up. We're at 1 hour and 10. So that day that I was finding those trout real skinny, I noticed that the land behind me was just protruding over the waterline. And mind you, again, I'm in 5 inches of water max. The moment, like I had taken some shots at some of these fish. There was one that before I took the camera out, I'd pitched over like, coastal brew dart, whatever, all the way to it. I basically brought this fish all the way up to me. Fish is at 8 feet away. And every time I twitch it, the fish just half kicks the tail and just looks at it. Twitch, look, twitch, twitch. Anyways, I did that. I held that fish there in that position for 2 minutes. And the only reason that fish was gone was because the clouds went over, sun came out, fish literally saw me and got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, yeah.
But what was really interesting is the only fish I took that day was 26, 27, but she was like almost like under 4 pounds. Like it was the most underwhelming trout,
Spawned
right?
out.
Just spawned out. Yeah. But the fish did not eat until the water behind me covered the land. All the birds then rushed to where the land was and were feeding, and there were more trout with them busting and feeding. And that's when I put that fly on that one and it came tight.
Competition, man.
What I would even say was ringing the dinner bell. Like they were there waiting for something, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Whenever I see 2 or 3 fish together, like not even talking dozens, I'm just saying 2 or 3, probably going to get lucky and one of them they're going to eat. And it's not because they're hungry. It's because they don't want the guy next to them to eat.
Yeah.
I've seen that time and time again. That's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. All right. We're at 1 hour and 12. Is there anything that you want to have? Is there any other topic that we talked about that we didn't go over?
No. I appreciate you asking questions about how to handle tarpon, take care of them. Maybe if I had any message to make is really hit that again, like take care of your fish, get in the water, have a plan, know who's going to land the fish, who's going to take the rod from you if you're the one fishing so that you can get a photo. Have somebody ready with either their phone or a camera. Like try to be in and out, like 30 seconds. If you can do that, you're good. Like that's kind of what the goal is.
Yeah.
Have the plan put together already. Cause once you start,
30 seconds
minutes.
turns into 2 minutes real quick, and 2 turns into 4. And totally agree.
It's dangerous not only for the fish, but for you. You're in the food chain longer than you want to be. Get in the water. Like you got to be in the water to take care of these fish. And you don't want to be in there longer than you have to.
One of the things JC was very paramount about mentioning was, fish spikes. Like you have to use spikes to be on the rocks.
Protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Those rocks are slippery.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard stories of guys hitting their heads and not waking up because they're by themselves. They drown.
Mm-hmm.
That happens more than anyone wants, right? It does happen. And then there's days when I'm out there and I see guys in like Crocs or flip-flops.
I used to be one of those guys. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, I'll do it like closer to the sand.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm just fishing for trout or something, I'll wear flip-flops out there.
Yeah.
But not when there's big waves rolling and I'm trying to catch big fish.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the last 2 questions I like to ask is, number one is looking back at everything that you've been able to do in terms of your outdoor life, your fishing life, etc. Is there anything that you wish you would have done differently?
Great question. One thing I never had that probably would have helped me, and I'm not a very outgoing person, like reaching out to people and having mentors is something that I definitely never considered when I was younger. But having someone show you the right and wrong way to do things, not really like spoon feed you.
Yeah, no, like not like tell you this tide, this area, I get you where you're going.
Right, but someone to guide you and help you make less mistakes. You're still going to make mistakes, but do less of them and just learn to appreciate the opportunities you have younger, I think would be something that I would really wish that I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, like any young person, you think you know everything, at least I did. Don't want to learn from other folks as much, want to go with your own, think you're invincible. And you kind of are when you're young.
Feels like that sometimes.
It feels like it, right? But you have enough experiences over life to realize, hey, I could have done this a little bit different or a little bit better and really maximize the opportunities that I had.
Gotcha.
Yeah. One last thing I would say, if someone invites you to Alaska and they tell you all you need to do is pay for your flight, fucking go.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that don't ever pass up these trip of a lifetime opportunities. You look like back. Yeah. If it's in your wheelhouse from a financial standpoint, just go.
Get a loan if you have to. Mortgage on the house.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the last question I like to ask is, as if you're speaking to the next generation, think, your kids, maybe even kids 12, 16, 18, who maybe want to, look into the outdoors as a profession. What is a piece of advice that you'd give them?
So for me, the outdoors isn't my profession.
I'm aware. I'm saying like take it seriously or, be at a professional level doing it. That's a better way to put it.
Got it. So that's probably where I was going to go. Like if that's what you love and that's how you want to make a living, like make it your baby. Like just being fishy isn't enough. Like being a fishing guide's not about fishing. It's about a customer experience and how you present yourself, your vehicle, your demeanor, the experience that customer is paying for. More often than not, it's based on them having a good time and not, hey, did I catch 30-inch trout or the biggest fish or the most fish? It's like, how'd you make them feel about their day?
Gotcha.
And if it's someone that only is with you because they want to catch that giant fish, I'm not sure if that's the person
you want to be fishing with constantly.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Maybe match your expectations with your client over time as well.
Okay. I like it. Well, we're at an hour 17. I think we've covered everything we need to. Is there anything else that you want to bring up?
No, I appreciate you having me. I really enjoyed this.
It's been a blast. I'm sorry it took 2 years to plan it.
No, it's my fault too. Like I'm not real good about these types of things, and I always have a trip or two planned that get in the way as well.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we did it. With that being said, there's nothing left to do but just get on out of here, my friend.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.